it's cold, it's wet, it's November. Nope, it's not soccer, Beeves. It's playoff football. You are in the prep zone, Slidell High School versus Central Lafourche. Let's get it on. All right, we're here with Coach Favre, head coach of the Slidell Tigers. That would be the district champion Slidell Tigers. Coach, excellent season. Could you tell us a little bit about some of these seniors that assisted you in leading the way to this great year?
Well, we're a senior-laden team, and they have led us on both sides of the ball. But what's more importantly, these seniors decided they wanted to stand for something different this year. They've looked at classes that have come ahead of them, and they said they wanted to go for championships. And so the buy-in, the chemistry, the family has been really emphasized since January, and that's why we've had our success this year.
Coach, you challenged yourself and your squad with a really tough non-district slate. Then you got into the North Shore district slate, had a great year. How's that help prepare you guys for this moment?
Well, we've been in all kinds of situations. We've been ahead, we've been behind. We've played bad in the first half, had to finish strong in the second half. So we've been in all kinds of situations, and that's the way playoff football. But you know what? Tonight will fly by. I told our kids by 9 o'clock this game will be over. Everything becomes magnified in the playoffs, and you have to be your best on every play.
All right, we're here with Coach Menard, head coach of the Central Lafourche Trojans. Coach, excellent year so far. You're in the playoffs. Can you tell us about the senior class that you have that's led you to this point?
Well, you know, we got 20-some seniors, but, you know, we have, I think, 5 or 6 starting on offense. We got 3 of our old linemen that are seniors. And they kind of, you know, the guys we lean on up front. And, you know, our quarterback's a senior. And he's a 2-year starter in Jacob Barker, and we're excited with his play. And, you know, as far as like tight ends, wide receivers, running back, I mean, that's all juniors for us. So, you know, we're excited with that coming back. Defensively, I think we got 3 or 4 starters that are seniors and the rest are juniors. And so, you know, we're excited with, you know, the future of the program too.
Coach, always a really tough mentality coming out of the Bayou. Great guys. Tell us about how your district slate has helped get you guys ready for this point.
Well, you know, everybody talks about our district being one of the toughest with Destrehan, East St. John, Hornville. Terrebonne this year is having a great year. You know, just a lot of great athletes in our district. And, you know, week in and week out going against, you know, those kind of caliber of players, you know, get you ready for anything that could happen in the playoffs, we believe. And, you know, hopefully we're battle tested and can come out here and, you know, make a run at this thing.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is playoff action. Slidell, Central Lafourche. Beautiful night if you are a duck because it's on the wet and cool side, but that is not going to affect these guys. They've had this date circled all season long. Joshua kicking off, looking deep, and ends up heading back, being fielded. Rolling up with a little bit of a hole, but not for long. It looked like Peyton Laredo of Central Lafourche was heading up, and Slidell, a good job right there, making sure and maintaining their lanes, not allowing the big play. So that's going to put the Central Lafourche Trojans put their offense out on the field, and they've got some quality guys. Number 20, Dion Jenkins. He has been a stalwart, 1,690 yards on the year. Jacob Barker, he's a 1,000-yard quarterback, 1,150 yards to be exact. Favorite target, Jansen Fulse, 482 yards. He's looking to clip that half of his century mark, half a 1,000-yard season as well, trying to find 500 yards. Little pitch outside. Slidell is definitely on it. I tell you what, Peyton Laredo right there, he was looking to find a little space, and it just wasn't happening. Slidell's defense up to the task. Tigers with good penetration right there, flowing to the ball, making sure to set things up. And it's going to be 2nd and 14 for the Trojan offense. Barker sets up, drops back, looks, got some pressure, gets the ball off, And I tell you what, it's going to be close to a first down. Good job pulling the ball in right there. That was number 5 for the Central Lafourche Trojans. That would be Logan Wilcox on the reception. Good pressure right there by Slidell. Looks like we have an injured player. And we are back. And again, we're looking at a 3rd and 3 for Central Lafourche. Anthony Chadwick not back in the game, so let's see how Slidell handles that. Snaps back, pitch is made, good pursuit, and it's going to be short of the first down. Excellent job right there by Kobe Pettis, the senior linebacker for Slidell. Great pursuit, excellent form, and I tell you what, when Slidell needed a big play, he stepped up. So that's going to bring a punt for Central Lafourche right here. And looks like Slidell could get some really nice field position out of this. All right, setting up shop. Oh, low snap. Dropped and hit, and then the ball still rolling, and Slidell is going to get excellent field position. I tell you what, great job right there by the punter for Central Lafourche. I mean, that ball basically hit a yard in front of him, bounced right up, and looked like Gavin Lassane, the 5'11 senior, was able to reach down, get the handle on it, and get the punt away. So avoiding disaster right there. However, that sets up Slidell's offense, and I tell you what, it's been dynamic this year. Jacob Guidry at quarterback, Tito Simmons at the slot back, Harlan Dixon at running back. It is a 3-headed monster. Let's see how Central Lafourche handles this. And right out of the gate, we have encroachment by the defense, so Slidell's going to have a little bit shorter of a field to transit. And that's not what you want to do if you're Central Lafourche. You don't want to give Slidell a short field. And they're going to be just shy of midfield, setting up shop with a 1st and 5. So, looks like Guidry's going to set up shop, takes the snap, drops. A little bit of confusion right there. It looked like he actually was initially looking at Harlan Dixon and then was going to go long. But a little mix-up between he and the receiver. And so it's going to set up a 2nd and 5. But I tell you what, everybody, it seemed like, bid on that particular pump fake out to out to Simmons. And it could have been 6 if it were they were on the same page. Nonetheless, Guidry getting the play in and gives the handoff to Dixon, up the middle, good hard running, and it's going to be a 1st down. No surprise there with Dixon. I mean, he's a junior. He's obviously an upperclassman here at Slidell with some experience, and I tell you what, he's been the talisman that they built the offense around, and man, what a guy to build an offense around. Of course, these are the district champion Slidell Tigers. Undefeated district champion Slidell Tigers, I might add. Undefeated in district play. Ball goes to Simmons. He goes around the end. It's picked up a couple of blocks. He's still on his feet, churning. And he goes out just around the 30-yard line. And that's going to be another 1st down for the Slidell Tigers. And again, for Central Lafourche to see an offense like this, they've seen some really talented teams in their district. You heard Coach Menard earlier mention some of the just heavyweights down on the Bayou and the River Parishes. In Slidell played Destrehan earlier this year, so they do have a similar opponent. Guess who? Harlan Dixon up the middle, and he's going in for 6. That's a touchdown. Shot out of a cannon. Once he hit the hole, and great job right there by Slidell's offensive line. Just, superb blocking. Absolutely could drive a truck through the hole, and that's not the guy for the Central Lafourche Trojans finding space, because once he did, Dixon was gone. So Slidell looking to finish this off. That would be number 13, Josh Wills, coming in to tack on the extra point. It was a high snap, handled quite well, and Josh Wills puts it right through. And with 9:10 to go in the first quarter, it is Slidell 7, Central Lafourche 0. And it's go time again. Josh Wills back on the field. He's going to put the ball in play. Central Lafourche is going to get a second bite of the apple. Down 7-0. They can't afford to get too far behind. They've got a lot of talent and a lot of firepower on their side. They need to get it on display if they want to stay in this ball game. Ball is deep once again. A beautiful run up the middle, and here we go. We talked about it earlier, and I tell you what, great return right there by the Central Lafourche Trojans. That would be number 11, Peyton Laredo. Excellent job. Great blocking. Slidell did an excellent job on the initial kick, staying in their lanes. This time Central Lafourche stepped up, put a hat on a hat, created some space, and Laredo did the rest. So Central Lafourche is going to set up shop on Slidell's side of midfield. So a short field for the Trojans as they look to climb back into this game. Jacob Barker and company looking to the sideline, waiting for the play. Play clock is actually down to about 12 seconds. Barker looks, calls a snap, turns, hands off. Good, hard running. Deion Jenkins right there looking to find some space. He did pick up a couple of yards. A nice job by Slidell's interior line right there, making sure there was nowhere to go. It looks like a pickup of 3, which is going to lead to a 2nd and 7 for the Trojans. Barker looking to the sideline. Gets the play in. Lets his offensive line know. Sitting back in the shotgun. Gets the snap. Hands off. Big hole. Good run right there. I tell you, I mean, there's a reason Deion Jenkins has over 1,700 yards now. Nice stop by Slidell, but it's going to be a pickup. Looks like a first down in all actuality. So Central Lafourche able to move the change right there. And the Trojans are keeping this drive alive. Good hard run and a nice hole to run through as well. Jacob Barker looking to the sideline. And again, we mentioned earlier Anthony Chadwick, stalwart in the middle for Slidell, and that's something that looks like Central Lafourche is trying to take advantage of his absence. And again, as a nice gain right there for the Trojans. Deion Jenkins, what a great guy to build your offense around as well. He's only a junior, and I tell you what, man, what a nice thought for Coach Menard to have that young man to hand the ball off to for another year. Of course, that's the same circumstances with Slidell with Harlan Dixon. So 2 of the area's feature backs, both juniors, and right now it's the Deion Jenkins show. Jenkins gets the ball again, but this time Slidell is up to the task. I tell you what, excellent tackle right there. In the backfield, that's Solomon Hartley. He did a great job, made sure that he wrapped up, and even still, a small gain, but excellent job, and it's going to bring up a 3rd and 3, 6:57 and counting. So big play right here for the Slidell defense. If the Tigers can step up and stop this Central Lafourche offense right here, that would be a big win because they're probably outside of field goal range. Are the Trojans? Ball is handed off. Great tackle in the backfield, but is it enough? I tell you what, I mean, fantastic job right there from Markeegan Gray to get in. But Deion Jenkins, I mean, he's just, he's the load. So it's gonna be 4th and less than a yard, and this is go for it territory. So Jacob Barker checks to the sideline. And again, I said that 3rd and 3 was a big play. Yeah, that's small potatoes compared to this. 4th and 1, huge play. Slidell's crowd getting into it. Barker looks and was able to draw off. Well, let's see. They got back and they didn't hit anybody, so the play clock is still rolling down to 4. Handoff, hit in the backfield. The question is, did he get it? A little bit of a spin move right there by Deion Jenkins. The question is was it enough to get the first? Slidell celebrating. They obviously don't think he did, and the referees agree. So the officials say it, first down for the Slidell Tigers. Great job by Slidell's defensive front line and linebackers making sure that was going nowhere. And that was kind of a weird play because I think Barker thought that Slidell jumped off sides. So he basically kind of held off the play to the last second. And with about 2 seconds left on the clock, he snapped the ball. And that gave Slidell an opportunity to tee off, if you will. And basically almost jumped the snap. So now the Slidell Tigers offense back out on the field. And a little bit of an issue right there. It looks like we have a timeout. So with 5 minutes and 43 seconds left in the first quarter, we'll take a break in the action. 7-0 Slidell. All right, back to action. We got Slidell ready to roll. Snap is back, drop, slant, beautiful pass, and it's a catch and go, and it is a foot race, and Tito Simmons is looking to score, breaks a tackle, and crosses the goal line. Huge play right there. 72-yard touchdown. That is a pitch and catch that if you're the Slidell Tigers, you will take all night long. Fantastic. Simple slant in, put Tito Simmons in space, and once he got in space, he just had to break one tackle at about the 5-yard line, and no worries. Touchdown Tigers, 13-0. Wills comes back on the field to look to pad the lead to get it to 14. Snap is back, well received up, and no good. So with 5:31 to go in the first quarter, it is Slidell 13, Central Lafourche 0. And after the touchdown by Tito Superman Simmons, we're back in action. Wills is about to put the ball in play, puts a charge into it, and let's see if this one will be returned, and it will not be. So that's the best defense against a very potent Peyton Laredo. So Central Lafourche comes back onto the field, down 13. So not the end of the world if you're the Tarpons, but you do need to, one, find some points, find some pay dirt, and two, keep Slidell's high-scoring offense off the field. You know, Wills missed that extra point. I want to point out, and I mentioned this earlier. It's duck hunting weather. A little rain here or there, in particular before the game started. So that young man's kicking in a quagmire. The other thing is, if you had the unfortunate task of marking Tito Simmons right there as a DB, that's a tough task in a quagmire as well. Central Lafourche looks back, drops the ball out. Beautiful catch right there in space. And I tell you what, that's Peyton Laredo again. And he basically turned nothing into a little bit of something. Good job by Slidell. And the guys in the position to put the pressure on Mr. Jacob Barger. And also had the guys in the position to bring Mr. Laredo down. Well, he actually didn't go down, but out of bounds to stop the clock. So, with 2nd down and 9, Central Lafourche checks to the sideline. Barker comes to the offensive line, gets everybody situated, drops back in shotgun. Hands off, guess who? And I tell you what, a great tackle in the backfield right there by the Slidell Tigers. They look to be, once again, the same guy who was in the backfield earlier, Kobe Pettis, the senior, making his presence felt. So that's going to set up a 3rd and 8 for the Trojans. And again, they come from a tough district. These are some hard-nosed young men. They definitely have a grinded-out mentality, so the scoreline's not bothering them, but they need to get some a first down for sure. Looks, drops the ball back, and it's going to be, is it intercepted? It is, and that is an interception for Slidell. It looks like a flag is on the play, so we'll have to see what's going on with that. But I tell you what, if it is an interception, that will be a huge, huge play for Slidell. Little conference between the officials. Here is the call. And it's going to be pass interference against Slidell. That is a big, big call right there. Because not only does it negate the interception, but it also is going to be enough to give the Trojans the first down.
First and 10. Trojans ball spotted.
Big momentum swing right there in favor of Central Lafourche. So the question becomes, what is Mr. Barker and Mr. Jenkins and Mr. Foltz going to look to do? So this drive does continue, 4:30 on the clock and counting. Barker checked to the sideline. Surveys, takes a snap, handoff. And it's going to be not much going on there. It was a good play design, but I tell you what, Slidell had the numbers for sure right there. It looked like Kylan Franklin was half of that tackle right there, and right after that, a whole lot of people showed up to help out. So Laredo right there coming around, wasn't able to find much room. It's going to set up a 2nd and 8. Barker checks to the sidelines, lets his offensive line know what the play call is. Takes the snap, and I tell you what, there was some movement there of some sort. So, plays blew dead. We'll see what the official has to say. And it's going to be a false start, illegal procedure against Central Lafourche. So 2nd and 8 will turn into 2nd and 13. Barker again checks to the sideline. And I tell you what, a lot of talent on Central Lafourche's squad. We've mentioned Deion Jenkins, Jansen Foltz, obviously Peyton Laredo. But not what you want to do is keep getting in these situations. Good hard run right there. I tell you what, Deion Jenkins hit the hole with quickness, but Slidell definitely equal to the task. And the Tigers' defense has been so impressive tonight. Their DBs, I mean, have basically, outside of that one instance, they've been locked down, which has freed up their safeties to kind of move in and just become tackling machines. Deion Jenkins gets out of trouble and shoots through the hole, only to see a bunch of green shirts waiting for him. And it is 3rd and a short 10. And Central Lafourche is not too happy with something, basically giving the official a little ear massage right there. And here we go. So Barker does look to the sideline. Play is set in. He's going to obviously relay the message to his line and set up shop. 10 seconds left on the play clock. Drops back, looks, he's got a guy deep, and I tell you what, Good coverage right there. Slidell had Jerry Thompson just mentioning it. And I tell you what, it's a good thing for Slidell that Barker ended up looking in that direction, because he had Peyton Laredo screaming down the middle of the field. And that's one of those, if he looks to that direction, it might have been 6 for the Trojans. So a break there for the Tigers, if you will. Good coverage on the outside as well, like I said. Thompson did an excellent job, and it does force the punt. Gavin Lassane back, drops. And that one goes off the side of his foot, and Slidell is going to have excellent field position right here at their 48. So once again, a short field, and Slidell is certainly winning the field position battle at this point. So with 2:12 in the first quarter, Slidell is going to look to extend the lead. And with their 3-headed monster, Guidry, Simmons, and Dixon, 2:12 can seem an eternity, because their last score, that was Simmons, and it didn't take long. Guidry checks to the sidelines, calls for the snap. Handoff, looking, Harlan Dixon, he's got space. He cuts, makes a move. And man, I tell you what, he's going to be down to about the 35-yard line is where they're going to mark him. And a gain of 18, a gain of 18 for Harlan Dixon. I mean, and again, 2 feature backs tonight. Harlan Dixon, he's kind of been the feature back, if you will, for the district this year. And it's a district on the North Shore that's got a lot of really good backs. This is one of those circumstances where Guidry's going to set up and hand it off again. Guess who? Right up the middle, and plenty of moves there at the end, just showing a whole lot of athleticism. Flag on the play, though, so this one may be coming back. And again, this field, it's going to end up being like they're running on 2 wet bars of soap before the night's over with. But for right now, Harlan Dixon showing he's got his dancing shoes on, because he was able to cut through there pretty easily.
First and 17.
So that is going to set up a 1st and 17 for the Tigers. Still good field position, but it does set Central Lafourche's defense up in a situation where they can actually dictate play here. Guidry drops back, looks, goes across. Excellent pitch and catch right there. I tell you what, Brandon Spann, super job just cutting across the middle. A great route run right there, and an excellent job of picking him up by Jacob Guidry. I tell you what, Guidry, he's just a field general out there. I mean, you can watch him. Senior, has all the experience in the world, doesn't get rattled. Leadership all the way through, quality young man. And one of those right there, his feet actually kind of slipped out from under him on that catch right there. On that toss right there. But he was able to put it to where it was easily caught. Drops back, and that time he's not getting away. Great pressure right there. I tell you what, Central Lafourche, they were in the backfield with quickness. I tell you, that was big number 55. And that would be 56, Charles Stewart. What? Man, I tell you what, he was shot out of a cannon into the backfield. And, man, that is going to set up 3rd and a cab ride, 3rd and 19. Three seconds left to go in the quarter, and it looks like Slidell is just going to let the quarter run out. So at the end of the first quarter, it is Slidell 13, Central Lafourche 0. All right, to the start of the second quarter, Slidell's looking, 3rd and 19. Snaps back, Guidry has it, looks across the middle, a beautiful pitch and catch. And I tell you what, it's going to be close. It's going to be dependent upon the spot, and looks like it's going to be about a yard short. So it's going to bring up a 4th and 1 and decision time for Coach Farr. And he's pressed all the right buttons for the most part all year long. So he's looks as though he'll elect to go for it right here. And with the field position, obviously that makes total sense. Not to mention field position, score, and he knows his guys. You got Harlan Dixon in the backfield, and I'm sure everyone and their cousin's going to look for him to get the ball. Big question is, does he get it, or is it pitch and catch time between Guidry and Timmons? Oh, ball's on the ground. I tell you what, it's one of those things where little confusion in the backfield, and the ball hit the turf. Big break for the Central Lafourche Trojans. They're going to set up shop, and Slidell's defense is going to have to run back out on the field here. So 1st and 10 for the Trojans. Ball is at the 30-yard line. Big break if you're Central Lafourche. If Slidell's able to convert that, keep the drive alive, it's a problem. Drops back. Barker looks, puts it up, and it's dropped. A little short right there. Barker got a little bit of pressure and had to get rid of it a tad sooner, and it was just a little too short for Laredo to actually get a handle on. 2nd and 10. Central Lafourche comes to the line. Barker's checking to the sideline. Slidell pinning their ears back on a 2nd and 10, bringing some pressure. They're able to run blitz in, and I tell you what, a wall of Slidell Tigers right there. Guess who? Kobe Pettis in on that tackle, but a host of Slidell Tigers. Just a green wall. You've heard of the green wall in Boston. Well, this is the green wall in Slidell. It is their defense. You've got Oscar Davis, you've got Kobe Pettis, and a host of others just making sure there was nowhere to go. So 3rd and 9, ball on the 31. Barker sets up shop, takes a snap, looks, going to set up a screen, and a beautiful call right here. And I tell you what, a great job by Central Lafourche. And looks like number 18 for Central Lafourche. That would be Jansen Folse on the catch. And I tell you what, big pickup right there for Central Lafourche. We talked about it. Central Lafourche just got a lot of guys that are just tough. They don't fold under pressure. They're looking up at the scoreboard going 13-7. Let's dig down and get ourselves back into this game. There's a big stop on 4th and 1, and they're looking to respond and climb back into this game. And that's one of those things. That's what quality, teams do. And Coach Keith Bernard, he knows his guys. Ball's handed off, and a great job getting around the edge. And Peyton Laredo showing a little athleticism right there to get around the edge. So Slidell looked like it had a little bit of a run blitz on right there. And it looked like Laredo was able to outpace that and get to the edge, and it's going to set up a 2nd down and 2. So Slidell's defense. It's time for the Tigers defense to step up if you're a Tiger fan. Central Lafourche, again, a lot of character on display right here, putting together a good drive. Here's a snap. The ball is out into the flat. And it's going to be a 1st down. Big hit on the sideline over there. I tell you what, one of those things where he got the 1st down, but Terry Crawford was there to give a free massage at the end of that. But you know what? If you're Peyton Laredo, you're like, no problem, move the sticks, let's keep going. So Barker looks to the sideline. Play clock running. And again, a good response right here by Central Lafourche, able to put their offense back on the field with that big 4th down and move the ball down the field. Jenkins on the handoff right there. Nice tackle right there. A whole lot of 4s. That would be number 4. We mentioned him earlier as well for Slidell. That would be Oscar Davis. And big number 44, Solomon Hartley. So I tell you what, you really don't you don't want to run against Slidell's interior line if you can help it. So these guys, like Solomon Hartley, 6 foot 180, but he definitely lays the licks out there, no problem. Fake the handoff, and guess who gets it right up the middle? It's going to be Deion Jenkins, and he's going to pick up about 4 yards. So it's going to end up being about 3rd and about 5 yards to go for the Trojans here. So big play for Slidell's defense. They stepped up as well earlier. Coach Favre, he knows his troops. He's got them ready to go. And this is obviously a big play, especially if you're a Central Lafourche Trojan, because 13-0, you really do not want to give the ball back to the Slidell Tigers and their high-scoring, high-octane offense. And there is going to be an offside. And it looks like it's going to be on Slidell, and if that's the case, that may be a 1st down. And it looks as though they're going to go ahead and move the chain. So indeed, it is encroachment against Slidell, and so it will be a 1st down for the Trojans. So Slidell's defense will reset right here. And the Trojans, they're quite happy to matriculate the ball down the field no matter how they do it. Tell you what, it's been a big first half for Deion Jenkins and Peyton Laredo on the offensive side of the ball for the Trojans. Walker looks, takes a snap, drops, looks outside. Again, another nice pitch and catch right there. Jansen Folse, he came through on the big 3rd down, and he's giving him a little bit of room right there as well. Looked like Oscar Davis on the tackle as well for Slidell. So 2nd and 5. Central Lafourche checks at the sideline. And I tell you what, at the 30-yard line, I would imagine no matter what from here on in Central Lafourche, unless they're closer, looking at 4-down territory. Lots of time, but not enough. Oh boy, what a great job right there by Matthew Reddiff. Huge sack. And it's one of those things, the DBs we mentioned earlier for Slidell, great job right there. That is the definition of a coverage sack. Great motor right there by Matthew Reddiff to, follow up, make sure to continue to put that pressure on, and finally got to Jacob Barker and was able to make the sack. So 3rd down and 12 for the Trojans, and Slidell's defense certainly has stiffened up to this point after what has been to this point a good drive by Central Lafourche. Drops back, big time pressure. Ball's in the middle with a middle screen. And I tell you what, once again, Peyton Laredo, one of the busiest guys on the field. He might have picked up 3 yards right there, but it's going to leave 4th and 10. And I mean, this is a part of the field where it's definitely not going to be a field goal. So it is a question of punt, and win the field position battle or go for it. And it looks like Coach Menard, he's ready to go for it. Of course, there is the option of the quick punt. That's another option as well. And Slidell jumped off sides right there, it would seem. So that's one of those where the anticipation of trying to get in and make a big play kind of got in the way. So, and look, you know, these young men, they're chomping at the bit to get out there and make a play. But it's one of those things. I'm sure Coach Farr would tell him, look, stay disciplined right there. This is a situation where we're still in 4th and 5. We don't want to give up a cheap first down. Now, if you're Central Lafourche, Coach Menard saying, hey, we just got the field short in the 4th and 5 for the first down. Let's do this. Barker, tons of time, and it's going to float just over the outstretched hands of big number 18 once again, Jansen Foles. And I mean, again, Foles is not a small guy, so if he can't get to it, the ball just must have floated a little bit. Great job by Slidell's defense stiffening up. And that's a tough one if you're Central Lafourche because they put together a pretty good drive. But Slidell's bend but don't break defense was able to step up to the challenge. And of course, if you're the Central Lafourche defense, these guys in green, you know they have the quick strike capability, but they also have the ability to grind one out. And looks like Slidell may have started early right there, so it could be a false start on the Tigers. And that's exactly what the call is. So it's going to bring up a 1st and 15. And that's kind of one of those weird things as well. When your defense has been on the field for quite some time, which Slidell's defense was, the offense is sitting on the sideline. When they get back out there, you know, it's really tough for a young man to refocus that quickly. But that's something Coach Favre is going to expect his troops to do. Guidry looks to the sidelines. Snap is back. Guidry looks, puts the ball across to Simmons. He's in space, able to eventually be corralled, but he's going to pick up a couple of hard yards right there. Central Lafourche's defense did an excellent job.
42, Bennett Knight.
Anytime Simmons has any opportunity to find any bit of space, he has the ability to take it to the house. So Central Lafourche defense, good job stepping up. It's going to bring up a 2nd and 11 for Slidell. Snap is back, handoff, guess who? And he's going to be tackled in the backfield. Again, big number 56. For the Trojans, and I tell you what, he's had a pretty good night tonight. That is the defensive end, Charles Stewart. He's a senior for the Trojans, making his presence felt. So we're set up for 3rd and 10, the original line of scrimmage. Slidell is looking to make a big play right here, keep this drive alive and keep their defense off of the field. Guidry drops back, looks, surveys, tons of time, puts the ball up. Oh my word, almost an amazing catch. Unfortunately for Slidell, they weren't able to pull that one in. That was Jordan Smith, the junior wide receiver, almost pulling in a beautiful one-hand grab. But Central Lafourche's defense, they did the job, and now Slidell's going to be forced to punt.
Marcus Camden. Back to punt. Tate Laredo will receive.
So Slidell with one of the larger punters that you will see at the high school level. As you know, sometimes when you can get away and you're tackled by the punter, you would be ashamed of that, but that's not tonight. And Laredo tried to haul it in, And it looked like he called for the fair catch, but it didn't quite happen. So no flag on the play. And again, it might be good that Laredo didn't bring the ball downfield, because I tell you what, big Marcus Candiff, 6'5", 325, that's the last punter you want to ever tackle.
A couple more second quarter scores. Franklin Powers 6, Pearl River 7.
And there is a flag on the play, and the officials are getting together, and this is one of those where if you signal for a fair catch and then attempt to return the ball, that is going to be flagged if that's the case. And these guys are obviously having a powwow to discuss just that.
East Ascension 6.
And I'm not sure what they're discussing, if they're discussing dinner plans or, whose son is about to get married and what the daughter-in-law does for a living or what may be here. But, man, this is one long conversation. Tell you what, these young men are going to have to stretch again to avoid getting cramps. This decision's taking a while. It looks like we have finally come to a decision. And it's going to be a couple of fouls.
Interference against the Tigers.
And they're going to call block in the back against the Tigers, and it looks like interference against the Tigers. So I guess the question is and this is the only thing I can think of, is that the officials may have determined that Laredo was pushed into the ball and therefore picked it up after the fact. So, and if that's the case, Central Lafourche is going to have really, really good field position with 3:13 left in the half. And Coach Favre, he's kind of wondering what's going on as well, because obviously, I was confused, so I can understand his confusion, and that certainly that kind of play right there will let you know why the discussion took so long. So at the end of the higher math, a little bit of calculus and some statistics, we're going to set up shop here. Central Lafourche will have the ball 1st and 10 at their own 49. So after all of that, Jacob Barker checks to the sideline and calls for the snap. Nope, it is Barker on the keeper. Faked it to Laredo, and he got a few yards right there, but he got a free massage by Jerry Thompson from Slidell. I mean, Thompson was like, wait a second, does Barker really have the ball coming his way? And he was more than prepared. However, Barker able to pick up 3 yards right there, so it's going to be a 2nd and 7 for the Trojans. Ten seconds on the play clock. Drop, pass. And they were looking for Fultz right there. Not happening. Good coverage by the Tigers.
Jerry Thompson. Every 3rd and 7, ball at the 48-yard line.
So, with 2:28 left to go in the first half. Central Lafourche slow to get back on their side of the line. Play clock down to 17. Barker looking to the sideline. Four seconds left. Snap. Barker drops, nowhere to go, rolls to his right, looks, puts, and nowhere to go in terms of the pass either. Good coverage right there by Slidell. Kobe Pettis had kind of floated out, made sure that number 18, Jansen Fultz, had no opportunity. The ball kind of skipped to him anyway, so at this point, 4th and 7, and that's going to put Central Lafourche out to punt. So Gavin Lassane did a good job earlier with a ball that barely got to him. This one, nicely done in terms of the snap. A tough ball to handle and well done. Slidell able to set up shop right there. A good job by Caden Besh handling a ball that kind of looked like a duck flying through the air. It was spinning in so many different directions. So, you got a wet football on a night like tonight. An excellent job to pull that in, and now Slidell's offense back on the field, and it is a potent offense. Central Lafourche's defense the last 2 series has been able to keep Slidell's offense in check. Nothing more that Coach Favre would like to have his Tigers go down the field, 2-16, and find some points. And if you're Coach Menard, you're very proud of your guys up at this point. Tito Simmons, space, and he's looking. He makes a move, makes another move. Huge play. Tito Superman Simmons. I called him Superman Simmons because last year, as a junior, we got to see him, and I tell you what, he made play after play after play. So I finally just said, look, get that guy a cape and put an S on his chest because he is that game Superman. Well, tonight, he's earning that cape again. Slidell up to the line. Guidry takes it, hands off, Harlan Dixon, and he's brought down in the backfield. What a great solo tackle right there. Number 37, Ryan Weaver, a senior for the Central Lafourche Trojans, making an impact. So it's a loss of 5 on the play, so it's going to set up a 2nd and 15 with 1:32 on the clock and counting. Guidry looks, gets the ball back, drops. He goes over the top, dropped it in. Oh, man. So close. Good coverage right there, and it would have taken a perfect pass. And it was a perfect pass. And almost an unbelievable catch right there by Simmons. It would have been an over-the-shoulder catch, kind of rolling out towards the sideline. Running out of space on top of actually trying to make a ridiculous catch, but he was almost able to do so, showing his ability. And I tell you what, Guidry, you couldn't have placed that ball any better given the circumstances, in particular with the field conditions. And the coverage was excellent as well. DeWanta Poindexter for Central Lafourche on the cover. Guidry back, drops, has a little space, looks, whoa, man. Big tackle right there. I tell you what, big number 87 and number 42, 87 being Kobe Guidro, and number 42. Let's see. I'm trying to see who 42 is. That would be Bennett Knight, 5'9", 175-pound junior. So good job by those 2 young men, 2 juniors. Making a stop right there. Timeout on the play for Slidell. 4th and 11, 1 minute and 7 seconds to go. 13-0 Slidell. And we are back in the action. Slidell with 1 minute and 7 seconds left. They're going to punt. Marcus Candiff gets the ball and puts a charge into that one. And I tell you what, a good Slidell bounce. And guess who picks it up? I tell you what, he was able to pick up 5 yards out of nothing. Peyton Laredo, you got to give him credit there. Just a smart player, able to find 5 extra yards. So with 56 seconds left to go in the half, Central Lafourche is going to put their offense back out on the field. So at this point, Coach Favre and his defensive staff, they're going to line their guys up and say, hey, let's get after this and make sure that nothing rolls through here and keep this 13-0 scoreline going into the half. Now, if you are the Slidell Tigers, you're telling your defense, get after it. You got a 13-0 lead. You're at the 20-yard line, if you will, in Central Lafourche. So a turnover would be huge. Barker drops back, looks, and able to find big 18 Jansen Folse. Hey, look, Jansen Folse has been able to find a catch here or there tonight and has had a good night as well. So 33 seconds to go and counting. Jacob Barker looks to the sideline. No hurry here. Snaps back. Handoff, looking to find find a big hole, which he does. Deion Jenkins does an excellent job and actually gets out of bounds, it looks like, with 13 seconds to go after a really big gain.
With the tackle, ball spotted at the 45-yard line.
So a huge run right there by Deion Jenkins. Again, showing his worth, and it's going to bring us to a timeout by Central Lafourche with 13 seconds to go in the first half. 13-0 Slidell over Central Lafourche. All right, we're back at the action. Snap is back. Barker gets it off. Gets it to Deion Jenkins, who's able to find some space, get a little bit of room, and get out of bounds with 4 seconds to go. I tell you what, good job by Jacob Barker right there. He stayed in the pocket till the last possible second. And I'm telling you right now, he took a big lick in order to make sure he delivered the ball. But a great job by that young man, putting the ball in the hands of Deion Jenkins, who was able to find a little space on the outside, get to the sideline, and with 4 seconds to go, I tell you what, this is going to be a massive field goal. It's going to be a 52-yard attempt. Lassane drops back, and that one's not going to work very well. It's going to be a live ball until it rolls into the end zone, which it does. So Slidell will get the ball back with 4 seconds to go.
That's the end of the first half.
Nope. It is the end of the first half, I should say. And first half ends 13 for Slidell, 0 for the Central Lafourche Trojans. Tigers on top. All right, back in action. Central Lafourche kick off to start the second half. Terrius Crawford and Oscar Davis back for the Tigers. And it looks like it's going to be Davis on the return. He's got a seam. And, man, I tell you what, tripped up at the last second, or else he was off to the races. It looks like David Sempe, 5'10", 180-pound senior defensive lineman for Central Lafourche, was able to get a hand on him. And, again, these seniors for both squads have been able to make an impact tonight. Sempe, a senior, as I just mentioned, for Central Lafourche. And on the Slidell side, their defense pitching a shutout in the first half. Lots of seniors there. Blake Simmons, Kobe Pettis, who we've mentioned, Terry Thompson, Ishmael Burney. I mean, the core of that defense, that senior leadership, doing their work on a tough night to be doing it. Snap is back, hand the ball off, and I tell you what, good, hard running by Slidell right there. It looks like Harlan Dixon around that right-hand side was able to find a little bit of space. Tight-roped a little bit, and looks like he had enough to pick up the first down. Well, holding on the play right there. So all that good work by Harlan Dixon is going to come back, and that's going to set Slidell up with a 1st and 20. So, and I mean, if the hold's on that side of the field, it explains how Dixon is able to get to the edge That's a pretty easy way to set the edge, is if you got a little holding going on. It's unfortunate because, man, what a good effort by that young man. So 11:48 still. We're in the third quarter. 13-0 Slidell. 1st and 20. Guidry, who's had a good first half, drops back, looks in the seam. Guess what? A great pitch and catch. And I mean, Tito Simmons, again, 2 seniors, 1 senior to another senior. I mean, an excellent throw. An excellent throw by Guidry. And Simmons has no problem going up and getting it. So a pickup of 13. So that 1st and 20 has turned into a very manageable 2nd and 7 for the Slidell Tigers. Guidry sets up shop, calls for the ball, fakes the handoff and went to keep it himself, but I tell you what, the center of the field right there, where most of the action is occurring, we mentioned as the game progresses and it starts to get churned up a little bit and every step is stomping on a mud pie, it's going to be like these young men have 2 wet bars of soap strapped to their feet and they're ice skating. And that's a moment right there. That's exactly what happened. Guidry faked the handoff and went to keep, go up the middle. Wasn't happening. I guess the turf monster's cousin, the mud monster guy. Guidry calls for the snap, drops back, surveys, looks, got plenty of time, puts the ball out wide. Good catch out in the open, but excellent job by Central Lafourche's defense on that side of the ball. Looked to be number 15, Jacob David, and a couple of other Central Lafourche defenders, and they're able to make the stop, which is going to bring a 4th and 1. And Coach Farber, the 13-0 lead, is going to send out his punting unit. Marcus Candiff is going to go back. I tell you what, the last time Candiff was out, snap was low, and he showed his athleticism, able to get down around the ankles and grab the football, plug it out of the air. And I mean, not an easy thing to follow through on a punt at that point. He did a great job. Excellent snap back, and he's able to put a little bit of a charge in there, and it's going to be fair caught by Peyton Laredo. So Central Lafourche will set up shop and try to cut into this 13-0 Slidell lead. So Central Lafourche takes their time, checks to the sideline as Jacob Barker has done for most of the evening, gets the call from the coaching staff, relays the message to his line, drops back, hands the ball off, and you got Deion Jenkins. He sets so deep behind Barker that when he turns around and gets the ball, he's actually got a pretty decent head of steam. So if he can ever find that next gear and find a hole, he's really a tough guy to bring down. And again, almost 1,700 yards for Deion Jenkins coming in tonight, so he's definitely one of the elite backs. And we are fortunate to see 2 elite backs tonight. Harlan Dixon for the Slidell Tigers and Deion Jenkins for the Central Lafourche Trojans. And Jenkins gets the ball again, looks outside, makes a nice cut up, and is able to pick up the first down, it would seem, or awfully close to it. It looks like he might be a tad short. Good hard running, though. So it's going to set up a 3rd and 2 with a 45-yard line of Central Lafourche. Barker checks to the sideline. Calls for the snap and offsides. It looks like encroachment on Slidell. And that's going to give Central Lafourche a first down and keep that drive alive. And that's one of those things where, as weird as it sounds, it's actually not an interior defensive lineman. But when you have Peyton Laredo in motion and they're faking the handoff as he's going through, it's something where if you're not on your toes, it could be a problem for you defensively. Nice dump out, and it's going to be a face mask on the Tigers, and that's going to be 15-yard penalty against Slidell. At least that's what my assumption is at this point. Nope, waved off. So it's one of those things where, when we were looking at it, I immediately saw the referee, the official reach into his pocket and throw the flag. So that was my assumption. Is that what he was calling? But flag gets waved off, and it is 2nd and 13 at the Trojan 46, Central Lafourche. Trying to eat up some clock and climb back into this game and find pay dirt. Parker looks back, hands the ball off, going nowhere. And again, Solomon Hartley in on the tackle.
No gain. Jenkins carry. It'll be third down.
Looks like Matt Retief right there. He's got a little hitch in his giddy up. He's going to come to the sideline. He's had an excellent game as well. Look, when you're playing linebacker or on the interior line for Slidell, and you got Deion Jenkins running at you, you're gonna have to bring your lunch bucket. And Slidell's defense has done just that. They've had an excellent game. I mean, pitching a shutout to this point. Barker drops back, looks nowhere to go, and he's going to be sacked. Great job right there. I tell you what, if you're looking for some elite play right there, Blake Simmons, number 10 defensive end for Slidell. He was definitely in the backfield with quickness. And, of course, we've mentioned his name quite a few times tonight, but Marcus Candiff, 6'5", 325. He didn't give an outlet for, Parker to look anywhere else. Central Lafourche looking to punt. Gavin Lassane receives, drops. Nice punt. And Slidell's going to set up shop. Looks to be about their own 26-yard line. So good defensive stand right there by the Slidell defense, which we mentioned those seniors at the onset of the second half. It's kind of hard to leave out these other guys. Matthew Rediff, Cameron Williams, Solomon Hartley we've mentioned. Anthony Chadwick went out earlier, and we hope he's okay. Looks like Oscar Davis has come in to take over his duties this evening. Dante Daniels and Kylan Franklin, and a sophomore, Markeegan Gray. Slidell drops back, and it's going to be right up the middle. Guess who? He's got his wheels going, and he's going to actually go out of bounds about the 8-yard line. But, I mean, we've talked about it all night long. I mean, looking at Harlan Dixon, he is just an elite back. Huge hole by the offensive line right there from Slidell. I mean, you could have driven a Mack truck through that hole. I mean, it was absolutely immense. That is not the guy, if you're Central Lafourche, that you want to see rolling through there. But, man, a great job up front by the Tigers. 64 yards. Boy, this Slidell offense again. You can only bottle them up for so long. Three-headed monster. I mean, and here we go. Tito Simmons, nothing there this time. And I tell you what, another excellent play. Big 56, Charles Stewart. Again, we've talked about him mentioning the seniors earlier tonight. I asked Coach Menard earlier. He mentioned his seniors. Coach Favre mentioned his seniors. Both of these teams, a lot of seniors built around that senior leadership. And that was a big play right there by Charles Stewart. Guidry checks to the sideline. Guidry is going to call a timeout, and they're going to chat about it for a quick sec. With 4:50 left in the third quarter, the score is Slidell 13, Central Lafourche 0. All right, back at the action here. It is 2nd and 12 for Slidell at the 12. Guidry drops, receives a snap, looks up, puts it out, and I'll tell you what, I thought there was a bit of contact on that one, but the officials thought otherwise, so that's going to bring up a 3rd and 12 at the 12. You know, this Slidell offense is built around the 3-headed monsters. They got a lot of seniors on that side of the ball as well. Zach Hughes, Brandon Spahn, Chaz Birchfield, David Harrod. I mean, Kevin Boatner. I mean, these are guys that they built this team around as well. So the question is, on 3rd and 12, can these seniors on the Slidell side step up, or Central Lafourche step up? Guidry looks, drops the ball back, and that is pretty much the same exact play. And this time it's Guidry to Harlan Dixon, and again, almost indefensible. Because, you know, you got Dixon rolling out of the backfield, and I mean, that throw right on the money. It was fantastic. So at this point, it looks like Slidell may be going for 2. So Guidry is looking to the sideline. Snaps back, quick out, goes to Simmons. Simmons makes one move and finds his way into the end zone. So with 4:41 in the left to go in the third quarter, it is Slidell 21, Central Lafourche 0. Slidell setting up to take the kick. Laredo and company back for Central Lafourche. Josh Wills ready to take the kick. And puts a good charge into it. This one is going to be returned. And Fultz has the ball. He's moving up the field. And I tell you what, good decision right there. And it's going to give Central Lafourche some decent field position. They're going to be out about their 32-yard line. And with the score 21-0 at this point, I mean, you look, Central Lafourche's defense has done an excellent job of keeping them in this game for as long as they have. Slidell's defense has just been next level tonight. I mean, because we've talked about some of the guys, you know, Deion Jenkins, Jacob Barger, Jansen Fultz, Peyton Laredo. There's some guys on that Central Lafourche side that can get the job done, and they are from a brutal district down in the River Parish. The Slidell has, I mean, again, we've talked about Coach Favre and his staff. They've just pushed all the right buttons, and on that defensive side, it's been fantastic. Parker drops, looks, and a good play design, but it was for naught simply because Slidell with, guess who? Simmons, or this time not Tito Simmons, but Blake Simmons, able to get a hand on the ball and disrupt that. So again, even when the play call was spot on by Central Lafourche, Slidell's defense in a position to make plays. And in this case, you know, Blake Simmons stepping up and doing just that. Jacob Barker drops back, fakes the handoff, goes the other way, and a cut in the backfield that just wasn't going to happen because if you look at Slidell, Dante Daniels, he was in with some quickness, made sure that it wasn't going in anywhere. And that's one of those things we talked about, the mud monster reaching up and grabbing a hold, and that's exactly what happened to Deion Jenkins. He went to make a cut, and his ankle basically gave out under him, and Daniels was right there to make the play. Barker's got plenty of time. He's dropped back. He's looking, rolling to his right, puts it up, and what a grab. What an amazing pitch and catch right there. Wow, that was impressive. I tell you what, I didn't think he was going to be able to get that off, but it was a phenomenal throw on the run by Barker, and you got to give Logan Wilcox all the credit in the world because Slidell's DBs were draped all over him, into double coverage, on the run, running for his life to his right, through the muck and the mire, and put the ball on the money. What a great play. And again, it had to be perfect because Slidell, again, had it defensed pretty darn well. Back again, guess who? And I tell you what, a great job right there. Slidell's defense, once again, stepping up. Solomon Hartley handling his business. And look, you know Deion Jenkins is going to get his yards. But if you can limit that, then you've done your job. And that's exactly what happened right there. Let's bring up a 2nd and 8. Again, the ball at the 45 of the Slidell Tigers. And I tell you what, Slidell's been in bend but don't break mode tonight. So Barker looks, a bullet. And I tell you what, it's the second time tonight that he has stayed in and just taken a lick and delivered the ball on the money. Very, very impressive. Jansen Foles coming up again with another big catch. You have to be impressed with Jacob Barker's determination and toughness right there, because he had to have known he was going to get a free massage, and it's not the one he wanted. Barker looks to the sideline, takes a snap, turns around, hands off. Good hard running up the middle. I tell you what, again, Solomon Hartley was right there. He just wasn't able to get a hand on him. Or at least if he did, he didn't get enough, because you're not arm tackling Deion Jenkins. Good job by Solomon Hartley to be in a position to make the play. I'm sure Coach Varr would just tell him in the film session, look, you did a great job, but make the play next time. Because I tell you, he shot out of a cannon and putting himself in a great spot in that backfield. Had a heck of a game tonight, Solomon Hartley has. And again, right there, that's one of those where the old mud monster jumps up and grabs. It looked as though Central Lafourche was trying to set up a wide receiver screen. Looks like Ashtreen Duncan was the intended target. But again, we've had some rain go through earlier, and it is certainly causing a little bit of problems in terms of footing. Barker, 3rd and 7, drops back, looks, great pitch and catch. And I tell you what, I thought for a quick sec that Jansen Foles was going to find the end zone, but wasn't meant to be for the Trojans, as Slidell did collapse on him after he was able to make the catch. Good pitch and catch there, right? I mean, you can't say anything about Foles' route running tonight, because it's been on the money even on this wet field. So that sets up a 1st and goal at the 6 for the Central Lafourche Trojans. And Slidell's defense has been lights out, but this has been a good drive by Central Lafourche. Good, hard running. And he gets in. Deion Jenkins finds pay dirt. So it is 21-6, extra point pending. Good drive right there by Central Lafourche to respond to Slidell's drive. And again, we talked about the character and the toughness, a little swinging gait. And Somebody will run back over, and we'll set up and finally take the kick. Ball's back up, and it good. So good job right there all around. So with 1:34 left in the third quarter, the score is Slidell 21, Central Lafourche 7. And I tell you what, with only 1:34 left in the third quarter, the question was it onside kick time? So, and instead, they opt to kick it deep. A good kick by Lassane. And it looks like it was looks like there's a little conversation to determine where Davis was right there, and they're going to say he was at the 1-yard line. So it looks as though Slidell will set up shop there.
Catches the kickoff.
So, well, I tell you what, that is
Ball spotted at the 1-yard line.
that is interesting. The Central Lafourche coaches are over on the other sideline, basically saying that the ball was caught at the 1, fielded, and then backed up and kneeled into the end zone, which obviously at that point would be a safety. So the question becomes, did Slidell catch a break right there? And of course, if you're Slidell, you're looking at it going, all right, yeah, it's 1st and 10 at R1. So we got a 99-yard long chew sitting in front of us that we got to handle up on. Snap is back. Guidry's in the end zone, throws it up, and that is interference. Tito Simmons was trying to work his way back to the ball, slipped and fell, and the defender slipped and fell as well and took him down in the process. So that's going to give Slidell a little bit of breathing room. So that's going to give Slidell a 1st and 10, and the ball should be placed at the 16.
Pass interference.
And that is the call.
Against the Trojans, 15-yard penalty.
The officials will step those 15 yards off, and Slidell gets a little bit of breathing room. And I'm sure if you're Guidry right there, you're very, very happy. And of course, if you're Central Lafourche right there, you're like, man, if we could have only gotten to him and got the safety, we would be back in business and receiving the ball on the kick. Instead, it's time to set up the defense. Ball's handed off up the middle. A good run. He's still rolling. I tell you what, Harlan Dixon, he is just, it's like he said, he's a next level back. In the district on the North Shore has been blessed with a few of these next level backs. Of course, Devin Brumfield is currently at Utah. He was with Covington. And upcoming, you have Celestine over at Fontainebleau. He's only a sophomore, so the district and the local fans, they're blessed to get to see these guys the next 2 years, because of course Harlan Dixon will be back next year and Celestine will be back the next 2 years. And once again, Dixon gets the ball again right up the middle, and he's still churning at the 25-yard line. Just a great run. Up, flags come out. And I think that's one of those where maybe something was said, maybe the dinner invitations were not up to everyone's liking, so we get some penalties, some flags on the play, and referees will come out and figure out where this goes and who it gets marked off against. And that's not to take away from the great run by Harlan Dixon, not the first of the night. And that is going to be a personal foul against Slidell, and it will back them up 15 yards. And, in a game this magnitude, there's going to be some chippiness. We haven't seen much of it, but as the game progresses, it's a possibility. However, that being said, Coach Minort seemed like a class guy. Coach Favre, for sure, is a class guy, so I'm sure they'll get these guys to the sideline and say, hey, let's focus on football. Guidry's back, drops, looks deep, and wasn't able to connect right there. And I tell you what, you looked at Jordan Smith right there. He actually had a couple of steps. He was behind the DB, so he would have had 6 if it's on the money. You can't really fault Jacob Guidry. He's had a heck of a night. So not even the greats, the GOATs at the highest level, have those flawless nights. He's had a heck of a run. 2nd and 10, Guidry drops back, has the ball, looks over the middle, and I tell you what, good play right there by Central Lafourche, because Tito Simmons he doesn't get gator arms, he'll go up and get it. So the question becomes, where's Slidell going to look on 3rd and 10? And again, Slidell, they've got the arsenal. They've got the guys that can get the job done. So Guidry drops back, surveys. It's a screen play set up, beautifully designed, and it's going to be close, and it looks like he's got the first down. Jordan Smith on the receiving end right there. A great job by Slidell. And we've mentioned it before, Coach Favre just pushing all the right buttons. So 59 seconds to go in the 3rd quarter. Slidell looking to extend their lead and respond to the Central Lafourche drive. Central Lafourche, really nice drive on the previous drive. So Slidell looking to reestablish that 21-point lead. Guidry's back, drops, hands off. Dixon up the middle. He's got space. He's looking. He sees the corner and untouched to the corner of the end zone for a touchdown. However, little laundry on the field. The question becomes, what does that pertain to? And if it is holding out there to seal the edge, that will be coming back. It looks as though it's going to be against Slidell, and it will be a hold, and it will move the ball back 10 yards. I tell you what, the offensive line for Slidell has done a great job tonight, but when you're out there on the edge and you're trying to seal that edge, you're pretty much exposed to the rest of the world in terms of seeing everything that goes on, and sometimes you get caught with a hold, and now it's 1st and 17. Guidry drives back, avoids the pressure, looks deep. Oh, he had Simmons up the middle and just a little off. And again, it's one of those nights where the ball is wet. When you have a football, and it's as weird as it sounds, and we've mentioned this on a few games earlier in the year, but it's just got a different feel. I'm sure on a dry field in perfect conditions, Simmons is hauling that in for 6. So it's going to bring up a 2nd and 17 for Slidell. The ball is at the Central Lafourche 36. Snap. Guidry looks. Nothing there on the screen. Goes back, and it's picked. Oh my gosh, this guy is moving, and it's the big man, number 56. He's rolling in, and he's stumbling and bumbling and in for a touchdown. Charles Stewart, his name has been called at least 3 or 4 times tonight. What a huge play. What athleticism on his part. I mean, my word, snagged the ball out of the air, and once he got it, he was rolling. And I tell you what, about this is the fourth time tonight that I can remember that young man, Charles Stewart, stepping up and making a big play. None bigger than that play. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Just a great play on his part. And it truly was all him. Snap is back. Kick is up. And it is good. So with 11 seconds to go in the third quarter, Slidell Tigers 21, Central Lafourche 14. Central Lafourche after that amazing, just absolutely amazing play by Charles Stewart. Kicking off right here in Slidell. Davis back at the goal line, opts to bring it out. Has a little space, has a seam. He's still going, makes a move. And he's on the outside. Can he keep going? He's still going. He's back across. What a huge play! Oh, what an amazing play. The Mud Monster made the tackle. But I tell you what, you talk about following excitement with excitement. You got Charles Stewart bumbling and stumbling into the end zone. So what is Slidell's response? That would be Mr. Oscar Davis. I mean, what an amazing return. And there wasn't a Central Lafourche Trojan inside of that tackle. That was truly one of those things where the field conditions actually did play a part right there. So, at the end of the third quarter, Slidell 21, Central Lafourche 14. And after that, a just absolutely stunning return by Oscar Davis. Guidry drops back, gets the ball, puts the ball out wide, and what a great pull. Just a lay and a lick right there. I mean, you look up and it's like a little bit of space, a little bit of room, and Tyler Harris absolutely making a delivery right there. So that's going to bring up a 1st and goal at the 4 for Slidell. You know, we talked about the response. I mean, Central Lafourche, cutting the score to 21-14, which is what it currently is. Slidell can find pay dirt right here. That is a major league response. Guidry looks, and it's going to be close. Tito Simmons right at the goal line, but he will be just short.
It'll be 2nd down. Ball spotted inside.
I tell you what, Guidry fit that in, and I mean, there was no room. No room at all. You know, the old spin it through a car wash or throw it through a drinking straw. He put it on the mark right there, I promise you, because the defense had very good coverage. And in Slidell, it looks as though there's going to be a personal foul on Slidell. And that'll move them back 15 yards. So dead ball foul right there. So instead of being 2nd and goal from the 1, it is now 2nd and goal from the 16. And they just got 5 yards back at Central Lafourche. It was called for encroachment. And we're going to need an abacus to keep up with these penalties here shortly. So here we go, 2nd and 11. It's 2nd and goal, from the 11. Guidry sets up shop. Surveys, calls for the snap, hands off, and another good run right there. This time he's in bounds. Harlan Dixon adding to his total, but it will bring up 3rd and goal.
It's 3rd down.
From the 6. And Slidell needs to find pay dirt. They cannot get a 1st down here. And if they don't, I tell you what, that's a good job by Central Lafourche's defense. Slidell looking to draw Central Lafourche offside. Guidry calls for the snap. Hands off to Dixon, and he is in for the touchdown. Harlan Dixon, look, when you need those 6 points, that's the guy you're going to look at in that situation. Huge response by the Slidell Tigers. And now the question is, going for one. Well, I have no question. They're going to go for one. Put them up 2 scores with 10:41 left. 14 is already 2 scores. So put them up 14. Josh Wills on the kick. High snap. And I tell you what, it's going to be interesting. Shovel pass. Goes over the Wills, and it just wasn't happening. So, with 10:41 to go in the 4th quarter, it is Slidell 27, Central Lafourche 14. Slidell up 27-14. Josh Wills to kick off. Great response by the Slidell Tigers. Now let's see what Central Lafourche can do. Got a good breeze rolling through out there with this front that came through. So it is on the chilly side. Josh Wills resets the ball. Will sizes it up. And gets a boot into it. And this one is in the end zone, and it will not be returned. I tell you what, looked like Jansen Foles did everything he could to get that return into play. But Central Lafourche is going to start out, and they need a response. The last time their offense was on the field, they were able to get down and find pay dirt. Dion Jenkins, Jacob Barker, Jansen Foles, Peyton Laredo. We've talked about their arsenal of weapons, and it's time to put those on display if you're a Central Lafourche Trojan. Slidell's defense has been excellent all night. We've talked about their young men handling their business. Jenkins gets up the middle, has some room, breaks outside. He's got space. And steps out around Slidell's 45, and it looks like a flag is thrown onto the field, and the question becomes, what is the flag for? It looks like it could be in the personal foul range against Slidell, but I'm not sure I saw anything there. Of course, these officials are right on the spot, and they have a much better view than I do, and that's pretty much what it's going to be, a 15-yard unsportsmanlike conduct penalty against Slidell. And I tell you what, that's going to set Central Lafourche up with some pretty darn good field position. Trojans set up 1st and 10 at Slidell's 30 after that big run by Dion Jenkins. The run, I should say, and subsequent personal foul call. So I'm not sure what the call was on. Again, they're a lot closer than I am. Parker takes the ball, hands off. Guess who? He goes to cut in. Nowhere to go for Dion Jenkins. And look, he goes to make a cut, and on a dry field, he probably does make a good cut right there and is finding some more yards. But as we've mentioned, the turf is giving way out there, and the conditions will be deteriorating as we go forward. Second and 8 for Central Lafourche. Ball on Slidell's 28. Jacob Barker looks to the sideline. Lets his O-line know what they need to do. Calls for it, fakes the handoff, and this time it's not working at all. Jenkins nowhere to go. I tell you what, Solomon Hartley in on the tackle with a host of Slidell Tigers. like Blake Simmons got in there as well. We mentioned the senior and what he's been able to do tonight. And again, Coach Favre mentioned it. This is a senior-laden team. They've been tested all year long. They're being tested here again. Barker drops back, 3rd and 11, looks all day, does find his target. Laredo's going to be right at the first down marker, and they're going to call it a first down and bring the chains forward.
First down, Trojans.
I tell you what, you got to be impressed with Central Lafourche's route running. We mentioned Jansen Folsom, the routes he's running, and in that moment right there, Peyton Laredo got exactly to the down marker, turn, set up shop, and Jacob Barker just put it on the money. Barker back, calls for the snap, turn around, handoff again, and a good job right there by Slidell's interior defense. Matthew Rediff in on the tackle. Slidell student section definitely trying to make some noise. Encourage your team. 2nd and 7. On this ball on the Slidell 17, 8 minutes and 35 seconds and counting here in the 4th quarter. Snap back, the fake, Barker keeps it, he goes up, and this time's not happening. Good job by Slidell, making sure they stayed home and got the job done. Excellent job, Terry Crawford. We mentioned his name earlier as well, in on yet another stop. So it's going to be a repeat of 3rd and 7. 8 minutes left to go in the 4th quarter. Ball still on the 17. And if you see the screen cavitating right there, jumping up and down, Slidell students are definitely into it, trying to will their team to victory. Jacob Barker looks at the sidelines, sets up, receives a snap, turns around, looks, fires, wide open in the middle of the field. Guess who? Jansen Foles. Superb route run right there. The ball was absolutely on the money. And Central Lafourche, they respond with an excellent drive of their own. Again, we're talking about two teams, senior laden. You know, this is what you expect. You expect those teams to respond, which is exactly what they've done. So at 27-20, Central Lafourche is going to come up and look to get this to a 6-point game. So Gavin Lassane back, drops, and kick is up and good. So with 7:34 left to go in the 4th quarter, Slidell Tigers 27, Central Lafourche Trojans 21. Zane on the kick, and it's a sky kick. Fair caught, and a good job right there by Slidell to fair catch the ball, set up shop, put their offense back on the field, and make sure that they keep Central Lafourche's offense off of the field, because they just capped off a beautiful drive. So right there, Kylan Franklin, number 6 for Slidell, a 5'8", 155-pound junior with an excellent decision to make the fair catch. So out comes Slidell's offense. And I tell you what, they have been doing an excellent job of churning out drives and hitting the big plays here and there in the second half. Both teams have, actually. So Guidry's back, puts the ball out to Simmons, and Simmons is going to drive the defender back. And I tell you what, it's a simple play design, and it works flawlessly. Coach Favre and his crew have their guys, and I mean, just so well schooled. They're such an intelligent team in terms of play design and what they're capable of doing. So, after a 5-yard gain, it's going to bring up 2nd and 5, and it's going to be a long 5. Dixon goes out wide. A beautiful job. And man, I tell you what, Boy, oh boy, absorbed a hit. The defender bounces off of him, and he just keeps churning. My word. I mean, just an amazing, amazing talent, Harlan Dixon. So that's going to be a first down. It's going to be 1st and 10. Ball at the 48, their own 48. And again, Slidell is looking at the clock. They have no problem with it running right now as they have the lead. Guidry calls for the snap, fakes the handoff, goes out wide, really quick hitch. Good job right there. I tell you what, you got to give credit. The play designs, they're just excellent. The idea is to put the ball out, get it out quickly. Tyler Harris out there, number 16, on the receiving end. Stays in bound, and the clock keeps running. Guidry sets up shop. Checks out wide. Simmons goes across. Snap. Gives it to Tito Simmons, but there is going to be a false start against Slidell.
Dead ball, false start against the Tigers, 5-yard penalty.
So now it's going to be 2nd and 9 for Slidell. And now they're back on their side of midfield. They're going to be at their own 49, 2nd and 9. Clock stops at 6 minutes and 30 seconds. And now the clock's running again. Guidry calls for the snap, looks out wide again. A little hitch to Tyler Harris, and he stays in bounds. Again, a smart play right there by that young man. A good pitch and catch. And Tyler Harris, he's making his impact on this game as well.
First down.
One more senior for Slidell, making an impact. And the clock is running. 6:16. Up. Tough snap for Guidry to handle. He smartly pulls it down and rolls forward for about 3 yards. And that's one of those where the snap was a little high. He had to reach up and try to grab it. Wet ball, muddy field. You don't want a turnover right there in a one-score game. So he did the smart thing. Pulled the ball out of the air, pulled it down, and rolled forward. So it's going to be 2nd and 7 with the ball at the Central Lafourche 40-yard line. Guidry's looking, receives the snap, turns around, hands the ball off. Dixon was looking to find a steam, but Central Lafourche, very good job. Their front 7 swarmed to the ball right there, put some hats on the ball, and it's only going to be a gain of 2, so it's going to bring up a 3rd and 5 with the ball at the 38-yard line. Guidry looks out wide and uses the hard count, and I tell you what, Central Lafourche crosses the line, and Slidell's going to get an easy 5 yards right there. So that 3rd and 6, which is manageable, becomes 3rd and 1, which is quite manageable, in particular when you have the quality that Slidell has on the offensive side of the ball. I mean, it could be Simmons, it could be Dixon. Guidry can keep it himself. He can, push it outside and find Jordan Smith or, Zach Hughes. So many options. Guidry takes the ball, hands off to who. He's up the middle. And it's definitely a first down. Harlan Dixon, yet another big-time run. This one didn't go for huge yards, but it was a big play. So I tell you what, it is a first down for the Slidell Tigers. 4 minutes and 53 seconds to go in the game and counting. So we've talked about, these two senior-laden squads responding to adversity all game long, and this is an opportunity for Slidell to do so, and they're making the most of it. Snap is back. Ball's up, looking for Simmons. And good coverage right there on the play. You got to say it's one of those where the umpire, the official might want to flag that, but honestly, it was really good coverage. Raquan Samuels for Central Lafourche. Again, we keep talking about it, and you hear me saying it again over and over again, but yet another senior stepping up, doing the job. 4 minutes and 30 seconds left in the game. 2nd and 10, ball on the 27. Guidry drops back, looks again, goes this time wide open. Tito Simmons, blown coverage, and it is the easiest score he's probably going to have. Oh, I'm sorry, not Tito Simmons. In this case, it is Miles Brown, number 8. Nobody near him. So it had to have been a blown coverage. He probably looked around and said, man, this is as easy as it gets. So, I mean, just, great recognition by Jacob Guidry to just pick his head up, take his eyes totally off of his progressions and go, wait a second. Yeah, that's going to be an easy 6. And Miles Brown able to haul it in. Slidell looking for 2. And he does. He fits it in. Oh, my word. Jacob Guidry just, tossing dimes. Unbelievable passes. And, you see Harlan Dixon on the receiving end. Unbelievable. 4:27 remaining. Slidell Tigers, 35. Central Lafourche Trojans, 21. 4:27 left to go in the game. Slidell 35. Central Lafourche 21. And it is time for Josh Wills to put the ball in play. So back deep, Central Lafourche. It is Peyton Laredo bringing the ball back. He's got a seam. And he tell you what, good return right there. It's going to set up Central Lafourche with a 1st and 10 at the 26-yard line. So we talked about responding. Central Lafourche really has been game tonight. They've stepped up to the plate, but every time they've been able to get within striking distance, Slidell has been able to respond and keep that 2-score lead, get it back to that 2-score lead. So impressive, both sides of the ball. Jacob Barker drops back, looks, surveys. Excellent routes again this time. Middle of the field, guess who? Breaks a tackle and he gets out of bounds. Jansen Foles. We've called his name all night. So when I say guess who, it's pretty easy to figure out who. So, when you got a Peyton Laredo who's, the jack of all trades, and he's, running his routes. Jansen Foles running these excellent routes. I saw him make the cut on a dime on this really muddy field and just go directly across the center. And his quarterback, Jacob Barker, obviously he looks to him. So with 4 minutes and 4 seconds left, Barker drops back. Wow, what a blitz right there. Barker unable to get away. Unbelievable call right there. Dante Daniels. Wow, number 11. He just totally blew that play up. Looked like Solomon Hartley was the guy who sacked Barker, but man, I'm telling you, Dante Daniels was in. And he's back again. And this time it's a beautiful screenplay. And you just got to give Deion Jenkins credit. He slips a tackle, tight ropes the sideline, gets out of bounds. I mean, just a beautiful, beautiful play. And again, one more time, Jacob Barker waiting until the absolute last second to get rid of the ball. I mean, look, the last thing you want is Dante Daniels having a free shot at you in terms of just right up the middle. But what guts on display by Jacob Barker right there. And it's the same guy, Dante Daniels, in the backfield yet again. And if it wasn't for unbelievable athleticism by Deion Jenkins, that's a big loss. That's 3 plays in a row, Dante Daniels in the backfield, shot out of a cannon. I mean, with quickness. So timeout for Central Lafourche. So with 3:24 left to go in the fourth quarter, the Slidell Tigers 35, the Central Lafourche Trojans 21. Central Lafourche looking to climb back in this game yet again. Jacob Barker, I tell you what, I've been impressed with his toughness. Drops back, looks out wide, and that one hit the turf, they say. Folks feels like he got his hands underneath the ball, and I tell you what, he's had a great night. So it's one of those where he feels like he caught the pass, and the officials on the spot say no. And once again, they are much closer than I am to the action. So it's going to bring up a 3rd and 7 at the Slidell 38-yard line. 3 minutes and 21 seconds left. So down 2 scores, Central Lafourche looks, and it's a fumble. It's on the ground. Barker's quick to jump on it, but it's going to bring up a 4th and long. And down 2 scores with 3 minutes and change left. They're going to have to go for this. Timeout, Central Lafourche. So with 3:21 left to go in the fourth quarter, Slidell 35, Central Lafourche 21. Pretty much ball game on the line, 4th and 10. Jacob Barker surveying the field, steps back, calls for the snap, drops, looks, and it's going to be caught. Nope, incomplete. And it is going to be a 1st down for the Slidell Tigers. Man, I tell you, that was awfully close to being a grab. But the answer is the same as what it was 10 seconds ago. And Slidell will take over on downs, up 35-21 with 3:14 to go. So the officials were about to set the ball where it was incomplete. So now they bring the ball back up to the original line of scrimmage, and Slidell's offense rolls out onto the field. Central Lafourche with exactly 1 timeout left. So 1 first down should seal the deal. Guidry drops back, the handoff right up the middle. It's Tito Simmons. He's got some room. He's still on his feet and goes down in bounds. A huge play by Simmons. Once again, yet another senior stepping up when it's time to do so. So that's going to set up a 1st and 10 for Slidell. They'll stop the clock just to reset the chains. Big run like that takes a quick sec to actually get up the sideline. So 1st and 10 at Central Lafourche's 31-yard line for the Slidell Tigers. 3 minutes and 6 seconds and counting on the clock. And of course, Slidell will take their time, milk the play clock down. Guidry hands off and stays in bounds wisely yet again. And I tell you what, just a smart play. Tyler Harris has done that at least 3 times tonight. And again, showing his senior senior wisdom right there, just to let that clock continue to run. So that's going to bring up a 2nd and 7 at the 27-yard line. 2 minutes and 44 seconds and counting. And once again, Slidell is very content to sit and milk the play clock. It's down at 7-6 and counting. Ball is up. Simmons has the ball. Rolls forward. And again, an excellent job of just managing the clock, managing the circumstances. Smartly done. It is going to bring up a 3rd down. It looks to be about 4 yards to go. So this is a big play this late in the game. If Central Lafourche is going to stay in it, they need to stop right here. And Slidell, if they want to put this game away, a 1st down will pretty much do it. Ball is back. Simmons goes up the middle, and he's going to have the 1st down. And that's going to pretty much seal the deal.
1st down for the Tigers.
And you just have to be impressed again.
Made the tackle.
Just quality young men and handling the circumstances beautifully. And that's a testament to Coach Favre and his staff. Guidry steps to the line. 10 seconds to go on the play clock. And again, just smartly and intelligently watches victory formation, takes the snap, and takes a knee, hands it to the official. And now it's time to let the clock restart. And that is going to bring up a 2nd and 12 with 1 minute to go. It looks like Slidell's going to get the playoff victory tonight. Before we end, we want to send a special thanks to everyone responsible for bringing you the game tonight, starting with the Superintendent of Schools, Mr. Trey Folse, Director of Broadcasting, Dr. Melody Menard, our cameraman tonight out in the elements, Red Sharp, and you know me, Jimmy Inman. We hope to see you at our next game. And we would like to congratulate these 2 teams. Slidell Tigers are going to end up with a 35-21 victory over the Central Lafourche Trojans. And again, quality teams. Good luck to Slidell going forward in the playoffs, and congratulations to Central Lafourche on an excellent squad. I'm Jimmy Emmons signing off. You are now leaving the Prep Zone.